evening and welcome to Inception Podcasts. This evening, I have a very special guest. I have called in the Prof, but we'll get to him in a minute. You can find Inception Podcasts on the Forbidden Knowledge News Network. And you all know by now, there are some amazing, amazing creators on there. The Forbidden Knowledge News Network. Go over there. There's something for everybody. All different areas are covered. And this is where you'll find me and my amazing guest. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce Bob Davis. It sounds just like a normal average name, but it's not. Bob is a professor, a research scientist, an author, a lecturer, and a budding film producer. That's my auto cue out the way, guys. You know what I'm like. And Bob, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be with you. I'm a big fan. Love your work, and I'm ready to discuss all the things you wish to.
Right, let's get down and rumble. So,
sure.
I'll just kick it off in the conversation. Share with us your journey, your human journey at the beginning, where you come from. Obviously, we're going to touch on the scientific area first, and then we'll go into the later areas that you expanded in. But who were you when you were younger? What was you interested in?
Well, let me first provide an important statement that I'm missing a tooth, because I had it pulled. So ignore that as a distraction, everybody. That aside, I'll try not to get into that too much. I grew up in the Bronx, 50s, 60s, 60s, Race to the Moon, the Star Trek. Come on. I mean, we were all brainwashed, hardwired. We said I have a stomach hurt, so we'd stay home to watch Gemini, Apollo, race upwards. Come on, you kidding? We grew up with that, the mystery, the journey, what's beyond. We have that innate sense, of course. Maybe more when you experience something quite profound, like a peak experience. But we'll get into that, because I think that's what we're talking about. So we got a little bit aware in a different way with technology at the time, space, travel, versus waking up in the caves and drawing carvings on the wall, and everybody else did their thing all the time. So that planted seeds in the head. I became a scientist. It's very logical. I like to read almanacs, while in the Bronx playing stickball with my buddies, right, in the streets, trying to be careful, staying out of jail, having a blast. But it was a unique experience. I'm not knocking it. We had a wonderful time. Everybody should experience a little of everything that's unique to all cultures and neighborhoods, no matter where. It's not the best, and not well. It was beautiful, but I got into academia, did research, became a scientist, the brain, electrophysiology, research methodology, following the scientific method, ate it up, published, conferences all over the place, Harvard, Cambridge, okay. Pat me on the back, big deal. I knew a lot about a few little things. Who am I helping? I don't know. Me, egocentric. I'm going to get tenured. Wow. Who the hell gives a shit, right? A few other academicians. It was pretty good work. I contributed within that field. I did. Paid the bills. Had a wonderful family, average lifestyle. But a closet ufologist, okay? A closet ufologist, ate it up. Star Trek. I didn't talk. Was careful who I talked to about that. I talked too much to my wife about that. I was a little lit. I dug the picture right behind you to your left. I got it. I saw the movies. I can identify now, in retrospect, Richard Dreyfuss doing the mashed potatoes with the fork in Close Encounters, the Spielberg movie back in the 70s. Come on, man. Yeah. Spielberg was lit. They were doing it back then. We're doing the same thing. They were doing it on the cave walls. They were doing it at Stonehenge. They were doing it all over the place. Expressed at the time, appropriate to the culture, the tech, mindset, everything that's appropriate. We try to interpret it. It's there. The evidence is there. We're doing the same thing. Same phenomena. I realized that always existed. It was here before the brain was here. wherever it may have been evolved from or
can
invented
I
from.
ask Bob though? I mean, you were a hardcore scientist, which is
Not that hard.
a
Not that
left brain
hardcore.
analytical mind.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
and
then you've got this interest in Star Trek and UFOs. I mean, that's, you would say that today, you would say it's very paradoxical. However, we are seeing more scientists now come over into the spiritual consciousness.
Absolutely.
Was there a point, and at what age, or was it after the professor and all of this, that really shifted you? You had this little hobby in the background that really shifted you over.
I love Sedona, Arizona. Mm-hmm. You ever visit there? Everybody should
I've never been to the US.
I mean, it's evolved into a business, a tourist place. Unfortunately, but it's worth visiting. You can go in the outskirts and really dig the beauty, the natural beauty, Red Rock, and all the other things. That's unique because it's so close. Well, we got hooked into a timeshare in Sedona, so went a few times. Hey, I'm interested in UFOs. In Sedona, you have a lot of lit people, spiritual. Love them. Crystal shops. Oh man, the crystal shops they got there. You lock the door and just hang out there for an hour. And don't. Anyway, okay, let's go for a UFO. $100. Let's go. Tom Dongo. After about an hour or two, he's telling me stories, showing me UFOs, plasma-based lights in the sky, of pictures. Yeah, it's very interesting. You see them today, all over the place. Interactive aerial phenomena. Mm-hmm. He said, Bob, here's the binoculars. Check that out. All of a sudden, an orange orb, stationary. And then a minute after I was watching it, not sure what it was, I'm figuring out left brain, geophysical, atmospheric. But then, bada bing, another orb exactly like that emerged from behind it or from within. It's hard to tell. Couldn't estimate size or distance. It was a distance away, 5-10 miles at night. It seemed big, but again, I'm estimating crudely. Wow. Went home. What the ape did I see? Interested in UFOs. That's unidentified. Could be unidentified. I just saw a UFO. You came to the realization, you just say, a little bit more. Wow. You start asking more questions. You feel it in here. What the? I didn't feel anything else. Not a close encounter of the third, fourth, fifth kind. I don't want that right now. I'm doing a documentary, consciousnessfilm.info. That's where I am right now. Check out our website. We'll get there. Yes, we'll get there. Indeed. It's a long journey, but kind of personal and quite interesting to me. All right. I'm in academia. I had enough of this shit. Left brain scientific method, which is great. We need it, but it biases you. At least I'm smart enough to know, don't stay locked in that's objective. It's very valuable. Believe me, it is. Be more flexible, incorporate the subjective. That's where I come from, the science of the subjective. Spirituality, call it whatever you want. I don't know what it is. Consciousness, lifting up. Well, it's all the same thing. We're the light workers of whoever they were called back in the Bible. I don't know what they were called. Shamans of whatever, a tribal, I don't know, spreading the word. The curious mind, the seek. We know that. There's truth seekers. But you need them. And we enjoy it. And that lifts us up all the more, thanks to people like you. The service you do is beyond, you're a light worker. Bless you. Bless you, dear. We need more of you. That's the problem.
I think one's enough of me.
No. If everybody was like you, well, I don't know, but we'd be more lit, more collectively aware, which is what it's all about. I think. Other people disagree, and that's fine. We'll teach it on all that stuff. Anyway, where was I, dear? I was talking about.
You digressed, right? So
get me back on.
I'll get you back on track. So you went to Sedona. This hardcore scientist with a little interest,
right?
And you saw a UFO. So there's your first experience. What came next?
Okay, so I'm locked in academia. Wasn't happy. I had enough. I had enough. Enough of the people, the weather, the cold weather. It was crazy. Some good friends, but limited. And now I'm having the time of my life. Why? I'm more spiritual, more awake, I think. And the fact that I think, that's what it's all about. So I wrote a book. Right after I got my ass out of the academia, I wrote a book, moved to Florida, and oh man, beautiful. The UFO phenomenon, should I believe? Okay. Did the radio show, sold a few books, a cup of coffee. You don't make any money in this business, of course. And I didn't give a care about that.
Yeah.
Share my thoughts about something
I was doing
personal, using my left brain.
Yeah, hold on. You can say I don't give a shit or fuck. It's perfectly fine. So don't.
Okay. so the BBC doesn't, it's not behind your shoulder, right?
Well, they more likely do. And
thankfully, that's one good thing about the internet and such.
Yeah.
And it allows us. You wouldn't otherwise be allowed to talk to people. Look at your subscribers.
Yeah. Hold on, we've digressed again.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I apologize.
I
wrote a book, Logical Left Brain, did all the shows. Became a member of the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Research Foundation. Okay? Dr. Edgar Mitchell, Apollo 14, sixth person to walk on the moon.
Yeah.
Died. He founded the Institute of Noetic Sciences. He had an epiphany. He's had an overview effect. He saw the earth from above. Okay. We did a study of experiences. It was published in the Journal of Scientific Exploration. I wrote it, Left Brain, with Dr. Russell Scampone, Dr. Ray Hernandez, Dr. Rudy Shield. But thanks to Ray Hernandez, who I don't know if people know him, but they should. Greater Reality, a book's coming out about all phenomena.
Yeah.
People should look at that. I'm giving a chapter on some of what I'm talking about and where am now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should come out not long. Greater Reality, collection of pictures. Anyway, wrote a book. We did a paper. It's talking about interactions with people and particularly UAPs, unidentified area phenomena, and their occupants. People said it's largely like an out-of-body experience.
Mm-hmm.
They float up to a matrix. They interact with another intelligence. Mm-hmm. The qualitative evidence we got and the quantitative response to 600 questions. I could bore you to death with the results, but it's in the article. Mm-hmm. In 2018, March or April issue. It's there. I could send it to people if they request. Often overlooked. We're talking about a spiritual event. Mm-hmm. Okay, with over 3,200 individuals. Mm-hmm. Some are nut jobs, right? But 3,200 individuals and 85% of them saying essentially the same thing. It's a beautiful experience, wonderful experience, interaction. The first 1, 2, 3 times our socks are knocked off. Our tea or coffee is going to taste very different tomorrow morning, right? Anxiety. I need Xanax. Who do I turn to? Because they're going to tell me I'm a dissociated, right? So they stay locked in. We know the situation. Yeah. They don't talk, and it gets worse. Mm-hmm. I see it would help bring them out to communicate it. That's another issue. But I forget where I was. So,
because you digress. Hold on a second. I'm going to stop you. We'll find where you were when you did this research paper and when you did all this work. Yeah. It was with the Free Foundation, the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Foundation. You'd already had this interest, and you'd already, you've seen a UFO. When you were collating this evidence and hearing other beings experience, what did that do to you? Because you were really a bit of a loner at first, in this field. How did that affect you? If you've got all these, these thousands of people saying, yes, I've had this experience, it was like this, it changed my life, blah, blah. What did that do to Bob at that point?
You ready? Well, I'll tell you, it was a challenge, a personal challenge, because you're talking to a nerd who likes to read almanacs, okay? Yeah. Fact and figures, objective, left brain. What it says on paper, especially if there's evidence, right? I'm more inclined to buy it. So people are telling me all these things about their mystical experience, interacting largely with energy beings more than anything. The grays too. Yeah. Energy beings, which are hard to describe, but a being of some, okay, we'll get into that. But it's hard to be objective because I'm trying to write a paper. Okay, this is what they're saying, consistent, 85% positive, they're more spiritual, more humane.
Yeah.
Empathetic, sympathetic, give up organized religion, less material, more humane, and a lot of respects, integrated over time.
Mm.
The more interactions, the more positive they are. They don't want their interactions to end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? 90% of those who interacted with whatever,
yeah,
what if they're crazy or not, they believe it like the back of their hand. So you know what?
Yeah.
They interacted with whatever. Because it's
so
a
what did
transpersonal
that do to you? What
it
that
do to me
your
was
consciousness?
it almost make me believe it to this point where obviously it made me question reality. What's going on when people who I consider quite sane are telling me stories that are just beyond belief. I can go into detail, but I won't. Everybody's different. It's extraordinary. It'll listen to peak experience. What did I just experience?
Yeah.
All different shapes and sizes. Okay, they had a peak experience.
Yeah.
It lit them. Now they ask more questions, maybe about who they even love, besides who do I worship. So I question reality, but then what kept me moving up on the ladder is I had a shared death experience. Okay, I was lying in bed, I'm asleep, and I felt as if I truly was being suffocated. I was experiencing a difficulty breathing in a lucid dream. And I really felt that terror, which woke me up. And I knew my close, dear friend, I love her, who I worked with in the lab for years, had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
You can finish the story. All your listeners can. I found out soon thereafter that she had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the grief and sorrow and shock, how can that not make you question things? What did was that a coincidence? I don't. To me, it wasn't. Knowing this, some animals do show that knowing this.
Yeah.
Even though no sight, no sound, no smell, they know predator.
Yeah.
We have that skill. It's not cultivated, but I'm coming to the realization through talking to these people. They develop a knowingness. So you see another awareness level. Yeah. Maybe it's brain. Maybe it's interaction with an external force. Maybe we don't know. Let's get that on the table. I don't know.
I'm going to I know what you're doing. You're a professor, so I know where you're going, and I promise to pull you back. Right. So when you experience what we call a precognition of a death of a loved one, and obviously you had that, and then obviously they'd passed. You then questioned even more your reality. Like for a scientist, you can't prove this. Maybe we can today, but say back in the day, you couldn't really prove this via, you can't take it into the lab and test it and blind test it and this test it. So that really must have had a massive impact on your psyche for you to then experience, open up more. Well, I always say, I've always said to people, they say that I saw a UFO, but nothing happened. And I say, trust me, something happened. The next stage is coming. And it normally comes with what one deems as a psychic gift of some description. So you got that with precognition of a loved one's passing, yeah?
Without question. We call it precognition, indeed. And what does that mean? Shared death experience don't happen often. It happens. We can't rationalize it. Newtonian physics can't explain it. Left brain, I struggle with it. Quantum physics does explain some of it, but it makes more sense in Newtonian. What did I do with it? What would a left brain scientist, a nerd like me, curious son of a bitch, but struggling with the left little here, when I play guitar and no music, just notes, but I left brain, right? Okay, where's the soul? The good performance had the soul in it. Put some music on the notes. So I wrote a book. What else is a nerd going to do? Life after death, an analysis of the evidence. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Get it? I like to write. You don't mind, but scientifically. So it's dry. It's like an intro to life after death. It's written to the Ackerman editions.
Yeah.
But if you like facts and it's all there, from reincarnation to mediumship to ESP experiment. I can go on and on. We can talk for hours. You want to have a documentary series? We could talk for hours. The evidence out there. ESP is real, everybody.
Yeah,
ESP is real. Subtle, it's statistical, but it's real. It's one second flavor certainty. That's another situation. Can't explain it, but it's real. So I wrote a book. More shows, more lectures. More cups of coffee on the house. You get 2.5%, 2.5 cents on the dollar. That's not about the money. I'm curious. You see, left brain, curious what that's going on. Mediumship, 90% accuracy at the Windbridge Institute. I can give you the facts and figures. Experiments in laboratories where mental intention is curing tumors in mice alone, to modifying the pH of water, to modifying using will, the up or down the laser interferometer from the Global Consciousness Project, to modify the random number generators when the planes hit the tower only. Only when the tsunami occurs in Southeast Asia. Only when President Obama. You get it? The evidence exists here cosmologically, collectively. It exists subatomically. It exists human to human, human to physical systems. The evidence is there. You got to play chess. So I put it in my book, Life After Death. I'm a chess player. Got it? I try to integrate the pieces. To me, I'm trying to make sense. There's a ton of nonsense out there. I know. But there's sense in there. That's where I went.
But the whole point of the podcast and my shows is to bring on people to come and share their experience, their truth, because we've all got a piece of the puzzle. We're all trying to make sense of it. And the only way is by having such conversations as we're having now. So I'm in total agreement with you. And obviously you're fully aware that even though I had a spiritual life, I also had a left brain analytical way of coming in, with deconstructing crime and things like that. So I do resonate with I say I resonate because then I'm going to come back and say to you, which we spoke off camera before, I found that my academic left brain skill sets, I transferred them onto consciousness, so to speak. Did you find yourself doing that? Was it a slow process for you? Did you use those skill sets from, your professorship and your scientific background? Did you start to apply them? Obviously, you did with the book. We've done the book, and you said it's a bit dry. So you're still coming in as this sort of hardcore academic here. I'm a scientist. However, after the book, did you find that the skill sets that were transferable expanded and went to a maybe a greater expansive
indeed, without question, because the science in me, good and bad, I'm trying to be objective, and yet I'm seeing evidence that's compelling, that's telling me Newtonian physics can't explain that. The left brain can't explain that. I can go into the evidence, but again, it's dry. It's in the book. You want facts, read the book. I can't explain that. How much can we not explain and not accept science? How that gap widens. We become more aware, more lit. People like you, near-death experience, out-of-body experiences, mediumship, all of it in all ways, shapes, and forms. Society stays here. Newtonian physics stays here. Society goes here. More near-death experiences as a result of COVID. 5 million more dying. How many people more, unfortunately, are having near-death experiences? But they're seeing another reality that's real to them. So they're seeing another reality, and everything comes with it. They're lit. Are more aware, become more awake, become more aware. Reinforces. So, boy, I see the evidence. So, it does shift me. It makes me more spiritual. Reading about the evidence, that's what's compatible with my left brain. That's what I need to see. Some people need to see the UFO. I need to see. This study says it's statistically significant that these individuals who claim to be mediums can accurately identify 90% of the information that is beyond their visual range, and we controlled it, triple, quadruple blinded. There's no way they could have known. How did they get 90% accuracy at the Windbridge Institute?
Yeah.
The mediums who are trained too. It's a skill that seems to be cultivated. Some people do have maybe, phenomenologically heightened connectivity. Dr. Gary Nolan says so.
So, I mean, I think this is really, I still call this, the evidence you got is a scientific data. It is. It's scientific data. So you've collated all this. So you've shifted again. You've done the book. You've done the 3 program. What then took you, let me just say, or did it not? Did you find yourself slowly coming away from left brain consciousness, the analytical mind, and more into the right brain? Or do you still find today, we'll get to the budding film producer, do you still find that you're still with the 2 and maybe have the left brain bias? I need to ask that question.
Hybrid, both.
I
think you need both. But you see, that's it. The nerd like me, scientists are stuck with their whole life, most of them. Shifting, that, and they're stuck with that left brain. From my research, the 2 books, experiences, talking to people like you, getting out in the field, boots on the ground, I incorporate them in my book. What people like you were saying, feeling, essence, subjective science or subject. Let's get to the heart of the matter and figure out what qualitatively that you can't quantify, so it's not accepted by science. So it became more right brain, more hybrid. I use my left brain still now. I still sound it. I can't get out of that. I'm stuck in that professorial thing. No, but that's my personality. I've done it for decades. Got it? I can't. It's me. I'm put up with that stuff. I'm sorry. Left brain. But you see the left brain biologically, maybe manically, scientific. But the right brain is saying, I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah.
Why do I dig the picture behind you?
Yeah.
You get it?
I get it.
That's how I'm shifting spiritually.
Yeah.
But what really got me what really took the cork out of that bottle, the UFO, the shared death experience, the research, left and experiential, subjective, which is right brain in a way, integrating it, becoming more balanced, hybrid, and the cork is coming out, and then it really exploded. I think it really came out. Got a long way to go. How did it come out? Okay, I'm giving a paper. I was invited to give a lecture at a conference in Australia. Get the name of it. A few lectures on near-death experiences on the UAP. Yes. And I was invited after one of my lectures by someone there, a former doctor, physician, who gave that up. And she said to everyone, let's just get around it in a circle and let me do some healing. Let's do some meditation, maybe some healing. She began to talk. I can't remember exactly what she said, but a lot of it was anatomical. Let's clear the spine, the chakras, let level the liver, that organ, the genetic structure. Let's get rid of the the bad entities, the engrams and things, attachments, all that. And all of a sudden I start coughing. Can't stop. Can't stop. 20 minutes, can't stop. Oh, did it feel good? Not the coughing. Something going on. Science of the subjective. Something going on. Love it. So twitching, I'm doing, feel energy. But you can't put words on it. Ineffable.
Yeah.
But I dug it. I want more.
Yeah.
Some people were doing other things. Some people didn't react. You see, so whatever she did, who knows? Energy, torsion, spin, who knows? We could speculate. But hey, come here. What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing tomorrow? Not to take advantage in any way, other than let's do this again.
Yeah.
I'm staying here in the hotel room. Good friend, beautiful person. We did it again for about an hour. You ever see The Exorcist, the movie The Exorcist? I think.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer. I do go on,
Well, see, I didn't spew out green stuff, okay? But I was contorting in ways that are just uncontrollable. subjectively, I loved it. The energy. I'll just leave it at that. You know, I couldn't figure out left brain. What the hell is going on when I'm assuming these positions? And I could my muscles here. You with me? My facial crazy.
Yeah.
And they were limited by the biological tissue. If they could stretch more, they would have.
They would, yeah.
My head would have gone around. Yeah, but I can't because, my head would have gone around. I'd be dead, right? So I loved it, as crazy as it was. And I knew that logically. But my right brain is also saying that the right brain shift that occurred from the prior experience is a little bit more open, more accepting. I didn't freak out because I knew it's energy, energy transfer, something channeling. And it felt good, that reinforced, let's go. Let's not. I didn't want it to end. She recorded, I got a video of it. Mm-hmm. I got to know you before I show it to you. I got hot in the room. I had to take my shirt off, all that. And after the session, which was exhausting, sweating, that's why I took my shirt off, right? Smelled sulfur. Sulfur smell in the hotel room. Strong. She, what did she do? Lit some incense. I can't remember, maybe even nicotine, like tobacco. Yeah, she smoked tobacco. She thought there was something powerful with that, whatever. But more probably her intention, mental intention, whatever energy she had. That's whatever she was using, facilitated, like a carrier wave. Yeah. Whatever. I just got it out. And I'm thinking, it came out of me. There was some dark crap there that had no business being with me. You motherfucker, you stay away. But we probably all got them. Not that I'm more lit, but I think we all are a little bit higher up. We all got a long way to go. It's only 20 and 21, but let's dig it, take advantage of it. How does all of this science and experiences combine the physical, the subjective? I know, integrate it to enhance human potential, and that's where I'm coming from. Got it. Use the science and the subjective, physical, to enhance human potential. We need more research, all of that. We need more discussions like this. Bless you. Bless you. If you want me on any show, get me a cup of coffee and just.
I'll get you a cyber one. I want to.
A Kundalini experience.
We don't want to digress again. I want to sort of come back to how you were expressing about your body. I mean, I've seen many videos of energy shifting inside individual Homo sapiens sapiens. Some it's hardly noticeable, the moving. Others is like contortion and going like this. And it's you can say the energy, you can call it chakras, you can call it whatever you choose. And the energy shift, like old energy that no longer serves. It could be anything, and multiple things of trauma, of beliefs, of concepts, blah, 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 blah. But I'm aware of, and I have actually seen on video others, and they've contorted. But as they were going through the energy, I know with myself on a few occasions, it wasn't so drastic, but I was aware my body was moving by itself, but I felt so fucking good. I was on it. I was on it.
Yeah, and you could think your left brain, right brain. You see that integration, like you're two people, two consciousnesses, a body conscious and a spiritual conscious.
Yeah, I have a theory. I have a theory, and this is just my truth, and it's just my truth. And my theory is, especially coming from a left brain academia, and then at the same time being very spiritual, is you touched upon it earlier on, and you said, so the right brain turned around and said, so what's going on? I'm very similar to that. And I see what occurs, my truth is, the right brain consciousness starts to talk to the left brain. Well, it's always been talking, but the left brain starts to hear. And there's emergence between left brain frequency consciousness and right brain frequency consciousness. And then they come together and start to communicate with each other. And I come via that way, because I do come from quantum physics as well.
Well, you know what? You know what? That's the best answer I can come up with too. Guess what? You understand me?
Yeah.
It's the best answer I can come up with too. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Where'd you come up with that? You're darn right.
Yeah.
Now, that may not be the answer. We're speculating, of course. That's the best we can do.
Yeah.
Science can't explain it. Nobel laureates can't explain it. Nobel laureates of the past, get Nobel laureates because the consciousness envelops the earth.
Yeah.
Newtonian physics has dumbed that down, right? Yeah. And we forget these things, man. Look to the past. Get that. Don't get me wrong. Okay, beautiful. What you're talking about, symmetry, right? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Spin force. The brain is like a torsion integrator. Look at it. 3D. The spine coming down. It's a torsion integrator. We know everything spins. We said it earlier, I believe. The electrons spin around the nucleus. So we know this at all levels, cosmologically to subatomic. So the brain, symmetry, the brain integrates torsion energy with me, with the constant, possibly with the quantum processes within the brain. We're seeing evidence of that. We know that. It's probably there. We see it. We see it. Yeah. And the point is, the brain has the shape of a torus.
Yes.
You with me?
Yeah,
symmetry. That's why, guess what I do when I meditate? You know what I listen to? It took me a long time to find the right audio. I used to go, I had a mantra, but it was effortful. That wasn't me. I did it for years. Now, I just like that. Maybe it's with age, just to gel out. But you know what I listen to?
What?
The Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic frequency of Earth. Why? Woo, 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 woo,
yeah.
Well, that's harmonics. The beats. Everybody, and it's popular, of course. Many of us have tried that, right? Some love it. I love it.
I have no problem with it. At all. Some people work with that. Some people work with certain hertz, because we're all vibrating at a different frequency. We find what resonates with us.
Well, what resonates with me is 8 hertz, Earth's frequency. You say Schumann resonance, and that creates, I think, exactly what you're saying. Thank you. Applaud you, Gloria. And you see, that's your detective work. You use a little left brain, and you quantum physics.
Yeah.
You think, you put the pieces together, criminal justice background. Look at you. You're like me, except, my wife wouldn't let me put that picture behind me, you know what I'm saying? But you're like, you're my sister. You're right. I agree.
I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, and I'm not here to tell anyone you must believe.
But to me, that symmetry, you explained it to me.
Express it. Yeah.
You explained very well. See, that's what I try to do. I try to bring in analogies. I love it. I'm being a little bit overboard on this, but you see, the symmetry of the spin force facilitates balance between each hemisphere. Absolutely. Information exchange. What is consciousness? Information exchange. Yeah, absolutely. You don't even know what consciousness is. That's the point. And so of course, we're conscious. Why? Why are we conscious? Look at me. This is why. With this consciousness, spiritual, okay, 3D consciousness, my eyes, my ears.
Yeah.
Consciousness, physical, sensory. We evolved from Earth. That's a body consciousness, but there's a consciousness of the inner subjective sense. Whatever you want to call that a different kind of consciousness. Our bodies operate with the autonomic nervous system. I don't have to be conscious of my heart. My body will modify as best as it can. Variations in the body. It's conscious of itself. We know that mind is conscious of other things. But more than this, the spiritual, the subjective. So I had the Kundalini experience, and now I'm into listening to Schumann resonance. Now I'm talking to you. Now I'm doing a documentary on consciousness. Now, I'm more right brain. But I still have the left brain. I'm the detective. I'm a chess player. Same thing.
Yeah. It's a case of, and I think, where the academia does help is with academia and spirituality. I suppose coming from, my life of crime, I know I'm not a criminal.
Not a life of crime. And you may want to
around people in the youth justice system and victims of serious crime.
Of course. Thank you for doing all that.
It's a case of, that's how them skills, I transfer them. And I think, well, okay, I need to deconstruct what's going on. And obviously, quantum physics was the one for me that really was scientific. I needed scientific proof of some description. And then when I first got into quantum physics, it was like I knew it. It was so easy. You can, another field, I would try and learn it, and I was like, what the fuck? I can't get that. But quantum physics just resonated.
Because it helps explain your perceptual experiences. It helps explain your ESP, because it helps explain your knowingness, your unique ability. Yeah. Because we may very well interact again with maybe a torsion energy serving as a carrier for light energy. How many paintings do we see in the past depicted religious texts, folklore? We know that the light coming down, it's all over the place. Light energy, biophoton. You see, we're catching up because we have technology, neurosciences showing light energy from the brain, biophotons, emissions from the brain at the DNA and cellular level, and plasma energy. It's ionized gas. It comprises the universe. Don't get me started. Quantum processes. Plasma. I could throw science in. That's what, but I don't want to go there.
Obviously,
to help support, we can communicate with that energy. Okay, light energy.
I think with quantum physics, it allowed me also to understand not only what I was doing, like mediumship or blah, or channeling or whatever, or experiencing with ET contact.
Yes, indeed.
It allowed me to understand this reality that seemed to be fixed and solid and permanent, and it seemed to be separate from me, the observer. That allowed to open me up to realize the connection. And, and obviously, I went into quantum bubbles. I went into everything. Then I went into neuroplasticity and the consciousness of the brain. And I went all down, and I just was absorbing all of this. I was fascinated. I was obsessed for some unknown reason. But then slowly, with the skill sets, the academia that I'd already been trained in, how to deconstruct, how to, on a cold case, to work out a crime scene, or who did what, when, how, their nature, their personality, profile, all of them skill sets. Then I put them upon this being first. And then I had an understanding. I said, okay, my left brain, it's proven it is academic, analytical. My right brain is my artwork, my creativity, my expansion with other beings. And I'm saying they are not separate, because quantum physics tells me they're different frequencies of consciousness and they're oscillating. So what is happening? And then one day in a period of time, I went, they're finally communicating. And to be the Homo sapien, to experience the human experience, they needed to communicate. So not being a left brain Homo sapien, to be the whole as it should be. So going up to the frequency resonates, you go, what the fuck? And you're the one brain rotating, oscillating. So two frequencies start as synergies. There's synergies come together. That then affects the neurons in the brain, which shifts everything. Relearn, deconstruct, and then boom. So I know we've digressed, and I said to Bob, we wouldn't go down this road, but it's too fascinating.
No, it's not. It's natural, and it's important because, as you know, people certainly identify with it. And thank you so much for sharing those personal experiences. And that's the point: sharing your personal experience and not feeling a stigma against you. And people, those who give me the stigma and don't like me for it, they're doing me a favor by staying out of my life and get rid of those people. You get more aware and get rid of those people, and if you do it. You'd be surprised how up you can go when you,
you can go
get rid of that negative energy. It's being more aware. Transpersonal. But you say I become more spiritual. There's physical effects, Quantum physics helps to make sense of the alterations in perception, no time, no past, no present. I get it, quantum entanglement, all that stuff is being sustainable. But the transpersonal effects are more humane. That's the most important thing that we overlook. The subjective, I'm more sympathetic, more empathetic, more concerned about your spiritual development. Let's all of that. Loving, caring, maybe having a divorce because I get it now. I'm aware you really don't, and it creates problems. Let's not face it. Let's face it. I should say it's an emergency, transpersonal event. But our left brain, when we're confronted with such an extraordinary, I like to call them a peak experience, when we're confronted with it, wherever it comes from, we question it with our left brain. But we do the research like you do to figure it out as best as possible. We're anxious, of course, and very anxious, spiritual emergency, Stanislav Grof, but we go to the books. I went to the book, Kundalini experience, Kate, Google, you get different answers. You try not to interpret everything little, and you don't want to be considered having a dissociative mental disorder, which unfortunately many people are. Because they question their sanity. People who don't understand it will give you the medication, of course, and counseling, which you do need. But if they're not experiences, they're not getting to the heart of the matter, and you're considered to be dissociative or whatever. You're anxious, yes, but you're not. You do not have a mental disturbance. You do temporarily because of the impact of that transpersonal event. It did make you more spiritual. Why? You question reality with your left brain intensely, but the left brain drives you, I think, it drove me to the books. I wrote, I lectured, I published.
The left brain.
And that's how I dealt with it. Same as you. Same as you, but you did it from a different background. Same strategy.
Yes, it's exactly the same.
The left brain.
I always say, people say, I want to get rid of my ego. No, your ego is your friend. If it hadn't been for that conscious, and what is the ego? It's consciousness in a certain frequency for you to identify as a limited human being. And then what happens as the spiritualization of the physical matter, the body, as the frequencies start to change, left brain, right brain, which then affects the neuroplasticity of the brain, then the frequency changes in there. And this is where it sort of connects to, you can call it a soul, your spirit, your Christ consciousness in the vehicle, so to speak. And this is where you will find, especially with those with ET experiences, out of body, near death, this love starts to increase, it vibrates. Empathy vibrates, compassion, non-judging.
Exactly. More humane.
So the whole being then comes, and it keeps oscillating and oscillating, because quantum physics has proven, in my truth, even our cells is conscious and a living, sentient. I mean, for example, for me to explain it in layman's terms, I will say to people, do you tell your heart to beat so much blood through your body? Are you going beat heart, beat heart? Are you controlling? No, you're not. Are you saying to your right leg, move forward, left leg, go? No, you're not. This conscious being is able to operate itself perfectly, 100%, if you get the hell out of the way of it with that left brain. So the left brain has given you, the ego has given you the experience of being human, but as you can call it awakening, as this oscillation occurs and it spiritualizes the physical matter, the ego then, you could say, submits or merges with left brain.
It dissolves. I'd say it dissolves. Some of it dissolves.
That's better. Dissolves into the one.
That's my word today. Ask me tomorrow. Again, language. You're beautiful. I love it. You're right. I agree with you. Language gets in the way, doesn't it? It's hard to define it. We're defining 4D, 5D, and language is an expression of 3D. You know that. So how do people put words on it? Ineffable. It's like a woman saying who had a near-death experience, documented, I had unconditional love, like you mentioned. You see more humane when you have these experiences. Eventually, a long process, integrating these effects over time. Yeah, you start experiencing unbelievable, wonderful. I love your explanation. So the love I felt during my NDE, where I did not want to come back in my body.
It's not something you want to.
That intensity, the only way I could say it, put it into words, it's like, she says, it's like a mother looking in the eyes of her first newborn for the first time, magnified 10 million times.
Yeah.
And that doesn't touch it. That doesn't come close. What is he getting at? Yeah. So what is science? What do I do with that? What does science do with that? What do I do with it when Reverend Michael J. Carter, love him. You interview him, please.
He's brilliant. No. He's actually. I've watched
Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
And he many shows writes about the relationship of biblical tales and current phenomena, especially UAP. Of course, you can make a case, prove it to science. No, you can't. But you can make a case subjectively, intuitively, knowing that. Yeah. So he says to me, I say to him, he's a good friend of mine, Mike, my left brain, talking to him. Yeah. Mike, please tell me, convince me that UAPs are real. Convince me that these aliens, the big guys, the picture behind you are real. Mm-hmm. What evidence can you provide me? My left brain wants to know. Yeah. This knows that two things going on, like you were just describing. That other part knows, but this is getting in the way. Mm-hmm. We got to get rid of this, inhibit this. What you're saying. This is what I'm doing. It's on the same page, kid. You got me? We're on the same page. So he says to me, Bob, a great touch me. He's saying more saying than me, not saying like Bob, a great touch. What's that, Mike? We're zooming. What's that? What's that, Gloria? A great touch you? Yeah, that's what I said. A great touch me. Then he goes on and on about a great touching him and other related experiences. Applaud him for talking about it. Beautiful person, reverend minister, does nothing but good for people in so many different ways. More saying than I think the average person. A great touch me. So what am I supposed to do with that, Gloria? Danny? Yeah. What is this left brain? You're talking about the brain, right? Right. I love it. What is this going to do? Dissolve it. Ego dissolution. Except the fact that people are more sane. This takes over, right brain.
I'm with you.
Knowing this, except the fact that these people are having this experience and they're more sane than me, and I have my Kundalini, so I'm also shifting.
Yeah.
Holy shit. This is dissolving egocentricity. The world doesn't revolve around me. A big fat ego. Stocks, buy, sell, everything we need. Oh, we need that. Yeah. We're trapped. I know, but it's less important. When you're lit, unconditional love, you get there. Long journey. We're not there. We're on a journey. We're on the rabbit hole. We're in the right direction, kid.
It's an internal.
We're in the right direction. Why are they in the right direction? They're listening to you. And others like you.
Yeah, it's
you do a beautiful job.
Hold on a minute. I've got because we need to get in before we end. We need to get in the budding film producer. I've got to say, like when he said to you, and E.T. touched me, and you're like, what the fuck do I do with that? And it reminded me of when I was about 21, like hundreds of years ago. I was seeing dead people. E.T. and anything like that was not in my reality at that age. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. And I went to see my brother, bless him. And he called me over and he said, Sis, come here. And I said, what? And he said, I got these beings coming. He was like this, I got these beings coming talking to me. And obviously him, like me, was diagnosed with schizophrenia because we'd seen dead people, obviously. But he was going, and they're giving me this knowledge, and he was telling me this sight, and he was going on about these beings in these other dimensions. And I stood there and I was thinking, what the fuck is he talking about? He's mad. Not even using that discernment. Well, I'm talking to dead people, and spirits, and I'd gone through walls, but thought it was just normal. So, and then I couldn't grasp and go, what are you talking about? But then slowly afterwards, and it really wasn't till after he passed, I said, he kept telling me. And then at the right time, I started, oh yeah. And I find that when I hear other people relay very similar experiences where you're told basically, this is a fact, and we're experiencing all kundalinis and dead people and precognition, but we still don't get it until a point comes where it just goes boom, and you go, oh fuck, it was that all along. So I'm really pleased you shared that about how that affected you, and it does make a difference if you're talking to someone. I mean, he is a very humble, loving. I listened years ago. I used to listen to him a lot when I was going through the practice of self-realization and with others as well. And when you hear someone speak something like that, it's not even, would you agree, or you don't have to agree, does it resonate? It's not actually what they're saying in the linguistic aspect of the communication. It's their energy and their vibration as they speak. You're smiling.
Look, I just interviewed people during a CE5, a Close Encounter 5, with my co-producer Dave Beatty, okay, with Mike Bergerberg and Darby Ranch, Dade City, Florida. We interviewed people who interact with beings, with UFOs. Passion, just what you're talking about. And why did I experience it directly in an interview? And they're talking about what you just said, energy. I felt that I could play it. I can't because, it's just, I have it on my phone. The energy, I felt it within, and passion. The words don't get it. She said that. The words don't get, they all say that. Is she crazy? No. Maybe that misdiagnosis of schizophrenia, people now seeing a different world. They're seeing this world differently. They're seeing, in my mind, they're seeing a different world. Some people do see this world differently and need some medication for help. They do. They're structured out of the mouth. Few, much fewer, unfortunately. No. People have to understand. They're seeing a different world in varying ways that can't be explained. Linguistics, like you said, can't attach and can describe it accurately because we don't understand the meaning. It's more symbolic. What words do we find? So we use consciousness because there's lack of a better term. But what is consciousness? So we got into that, of course. But I do think once you dissolve much of the ego, I do believe you yourself will emerge. The more right brain will emerge, and the symmetry is necessary indeed. You express it. You express it the same way I do. Yeah.
I'm really pleased it resonates. I mean, it is for me. Once I'm in that mode, it's just passion. It's excitement because it's through me working in this way and deconstructing just me, as other people deconstruct themselves unknowingly, maybe, is that it's allowed me to find more about me.
And
all about me. It's all about me. It really is all about me, and it's all about you, and it's all about, because this is my reality.
Well, now the world. Now you revolve more around the world. You're more sensitive to the matters of the world, the people, the cultures, the ecology, obviously from above, like an overview effect. You're now seeing from above, like astronauts who have an overview effect. Dr. Edgar Mitchell formed ions because he had a peak experience, an epiphany. Elevated, but William Shatner just went into space. He had a peak experience, so he cries. That's real Star Trek. That's a real journey. He's going to view life differently from that moment forward. When I get a trigger in the form of NDE, OBE, UFO, I'm triggered, talks out of the bottle. I'm more aware now. So we ask the question, and we go up. So synchronicities help too. Synchronicities reinforce young timing and meaning. That also being more aware of how time and meaning occurring simultaneously beyond chance also elevates us too. It's like a reinforcing circumstance of our 3D world that we can't explain. Wow, reality works so strange. Oh, don't get me started with synchronicity. We all have them. Oh my God.
We haven't got time for synchronicity.
How's it this Gloria? Do a show just on synchronicities. You can talk forever.
Synchronicity.
It's like a guy named Jared Diamond, a student, well documented, good source, real good source. Here's an example. Could be chance, but I don't think so. He wanted to contact a guy named Jared Diamond for research. He decided against emailing him, researching him to incorporate him. Okay, he decides instead to go to Indonesia, goes on a long trip. He takes 2 boats, 29 miles away, puts his name in an Econo Lodge. Right above his name in the logbook is, of course, Jared Diamond. Turns around, there he is. Okay, it happens a lot. I could win a $10 million lottery too, and it happens. I mean, strange things do naturally happen, but that maybe, but reality is different. We can go on and on. What message, meaning, how do I use that information that me is receiving, not the body, me? And we have to understand how reality can operate in unusual ways, in ways we never taught.
I mean,
we never see you. You were psychic from the beginning. You don't know what normal is. So they called you schizophrenic. They called you schizophrenic. Maybe they dumb you down with pills and counseling. You question your sanity. All that shit. All that people are going now. Hopefully, yet less so as people get tuned in and are operating as psychologists and understand. But you got to find them, of course. Not easy always. Not easy. I know. So.
I'm going to have to pull us back because we've digressed again. We've done it. But there again, it's nice to digress in certain areas. I mean, before we go to the last part of the show, I just want to touch on, I don't want to go into discussion of synchronism or be here all night. However, my experience here as a human being now is synchronicity. It took a while to catch on, and for example, it's like I have this. Everything with me is 3 in 1 for some bloody unknown reason. I don't know. It's all in threes, and it'll be like this. Like you were saying about the guy, that went to that place and he wanted to speak to the man. He was there. Now, say for example, I'll see say for the podcast. It even works on the podcast. I'll be just going online. I'll be looking something totally different, and I'll see a name come up or a picture of somebody. I'll go, oh, one. And then I'm going about my business, I may do an interview, whatever, and then later on I go on my phone to play because I love playing Scrabble. I've still got the analytical. I love playing and winning, especially. That's the left brain. And I go on there, and then
chess for me, chess.
Yeah. And then I see the name or the picture again. I go 2 strikes. If that comes up, I will connect with that person. And then 3rd strike, and then I connect. So that happens all the time. It's like when I go out or where I go, if I think of someone, if I think of them once, could be past, present, future, whatever, but it doesn't matter. I'm aware I've had that thought because I'm observing it. I think it twice. I go, okay, there's twice. If that thought comes up, and it could be hours later, boom, I go, right, I'm on it. So everyone's got their own little, but that's how I function.
Yeah, I'll see. Yeah.
Strikes.
Example along those lines, synchronicity. I'll see something very meaningful to me, like a bee on a flower.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm listening. Butterflies.
Yeah.
It was a butterfly in a flower, and I'm listening to the song "Butterflies," a beautiful song I love, folk singer. Then it has meaning to a person.
Yeah.
And then I go maybe 10, 15 minutes later, I'm driving. Mm-hmm. The first car I see, the stop sign, I'm serious, was a 3-letter name of the person that the butterfly represented to me.
Wow, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Now, that's it.
That's it. You don't need to say anymore. Don't need to say anymore. It's said. That we've touched on synchronicity. We both give 2 examples. Now, we're coming to the end of the podcast. So the last part of our conversation is you're now a budding film producer. You're working on a film now?
Yes, I am.
Does it have a title?
The Consciousness Connection.
Consciousness Connection.
And the website is consciousnessfilm.info. Yes, indeed.
Okay. And you are co-producing with another?
With David Beatty of Dreamtime Entertainment, who did the Nimitz Encounters documentary. He produced it. He did it all, about 7 million views already on
Brilliant.
Netflix. I think it's on Amazon Prime now.
Yeah.
And there's also a trailer on our website. And as awkward as okay, continue, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before I close the show, you've mentioned your website, so you can sell your wares. So if someone's interested in your books, where can they find your books?
On my website, bobdavisspeaks.com, bobdavisspeaks.com, and it's certainly on Amazon. Okay. My last book, Unseen Forces, The Integration of Science, Reality, and You, that was the documentary is based on that in part, the peak experience and things we've talked about. Yeah. Okay. And
lovely. And so anyone that's interested, anything resonates with you in the conversation I've had with Bob, we did digress a lot, but that just happens because we're both interested in similar things. That's what you get for being human and coming here. But no, seriously, if you're interested, search up Bob's books, look up the trailer to his film, go to his website, and see what it might take you further down the rabbit hole, and you'll have a wonderful journey. I'd like to thank you, Bob, for coming on the podcast. It's just been awesome, absolutely awesome. And it's made me smile a lot. And it really, because it got into my, we all got our hobbies or passions, and that's obviously I've expressed mine this evening. Consciousness is my passion. So, but, I love hearing other beings' journeys of how they came to this point. And it to help others that may be watching this, that are at the beginning or in the middle or 3/4 in, it doesn't matter, but to support them. You're not alone. There are others, like you out there. No one is more awake than anybody else. We're all having an individual journey. However, we're all coming together now to share our personal individual conscious journeys. So on that note, thank you, Bob, so much. And to the audience, thank you for supporting the podcast. Please like and subscribe, and you'll find this podcast on the Forbidden Knowledge News Network, which is absolutely amazing.
It's the best.
It's an amazing network. So thank you, everybody. And until the next podcast, bye for now. Bye, guys.